healed, making the situation worse. Every word Chen Mo spoke was precise, causing Kim Jong-un to nod continuously. However, Chen Mo added that in order to fully recover, he would need to give up martial arts, as the illness would relapse otherwise. Upon hearing this, Kim Jong-un felt as though he had been struck by lightning. This would be like losing his entire life's purpose. But after thinking for a while, he knew he couldn't endure the pain any longer. Chen Mo understood this and said, "Once you've experienced the wonders of martial arts and cultivation, how could you be content to live as an ordinary person?" Kim Jong-un sighed, feeling a bit relieved. At 72 years old, he knew his time was limited. Over the years, he had accumulated a significant fortune, all thanks to a martial arts technique he had accidentally obtained. It was through this technique that the Kim family had grown prosperous. Now, looking back, Kim Jong-un felt that he had achieved enough. He told Chen Mo that he was willing to give up martial arts as long as his illness could be cured so that he could live the remaining years of his life in peace. After hearing his response, Chen Mo nodded. "I don't need your fortune, but give me 3 days. I will prepare the spirit pill to cure your illness." Upon hearing 3 days, Kim Jong-un couldn't help but doubt. However, Kim Jong-un understood that creating such a miraculous pill would naturally take time for preparation. Still, Chen Mo bluntly clarified, "It's just a normal pill. I need time to prepare the ingredients." The real reason, of course, was that he was out of money. Kim Jong-un immediately offered to help gather the ingredients. Chen Mo handed him a list of ingredients, with quantities listed that were double what he would need. The excess would be used for other matters later. After looking over the list, Kim Jong-un believed that he could gather everything within 2 days. Afterward, Chen Mo asked him what he knew about the martial arts world. Kim Jong-un admitted that his knowledge was limited. He had only relied on the martial arts technique to practice, and couldn't compare to the long-standing traditional martial arts sects. What caught Chen Mo's attention was that there were still traditional martial arts sects in existence. Though Kim Jong-un didn't know their exact locations, he was sure that they existed and had been passed down through many generations. Based on Chen Mo's speculation, the Li family might be connected to one of these sects. The martial arts world was divided into 4 major realms, known as the 4 realms of martial arts: Divine Realm, Transformation Realm, Internal Realm, and External Realm. These realms were ranked from highest to lowest. Except for the Divine Realm, each realm was further divided into small success, great success, and peak stages. Upon reaching the Transformation Realm, one would be known as a martial arts grandmaster, comparable to figures like Feng Daolan. These people possessed extraordinary strength, guarding their territories and founding powerful families. However, the Divine Realm had not appeared for 100 years and had become a legend. When asked about his current realm, Kim Jong-un stated that he had reached the peak of the Internal Realm. For many years, he hadn't encountered an opponent worthy of him. Based on Chen Mo's assessment, his own realm was the peak of the Internal Realm, just one small step away from the Transformation Realm. Still, he understood that realm didn't reflect true strength. "If I were to face a martial arts grandmaster of the Transformation Realm, I wouldn't be afraid, but facing a legend of the Divine Realm would be truly dangerous." The next day, at the Yem family's school, they arrived to cancel the engagement as scheduled. Chen Mo had already prepared himself. If they dared to treat him like they did in his previous life, today, no one would leave this place unscathed. In Class 6, the atmosphere was extremely lively as the students gossiping noisily. As soon as Chen Mo entered, Lim Dae immediately mocked him, saying, "You skipped the exam and still dare to come to class. What a thick-skinned person." Lim Dae, who was a loyal subordinate of Zhen Yuanhao, always tried to embarrass Chen Mo. In response to the mockery, Chen Mo calmly sat down, completely ignoring Lim Dae as if he didn't exist. This action made Jiang Yao even more attracted to him because of his composure. She smiled lightly, knowing he was the person she had liked for a long time. On the other side, Ank Yu couldn't help but glance at Chen Mo, her heart full of thoughts. Zhen Yuanhao looked at Chen Mo with disdain. To him, Chen Mo was just a useless person who wasn't worth his attention. Shortly after, the homeroom teacher, Wang Liang, entered the classroom and began announcing the exam results. Most of the students had good results. Q, the class beauty, ranked second in the class and ninth in the whole school, receiving praise from the teacher. Zheng Yuanhao ranked first in class and third in the school, with Wang Liang hoping he could achieve the top rank before graduation. These results made the classmates marvel and admire him. Despite studying together, it was clear there was a vast gap in abilities between them and Zheng Yuanhao. Then came Chen Mo's turn. Wang Liang was so angry that she couldn't hide her disappointment. "Chen Mo, you're at the bottom, not just in the class but in the whole school." She emphasized that he was the first student in the school's history to submit a blank paper. The class fell silent for a few seconds before bursting into laughter. Even though some students weren't very good, no one was this bad. However, some boys in the class still weren't disappointed in Chen Mo. After what they had witnessed at Jiang Yao's house, they valued Chen Mo's strength more than his academic results. Unexpectedly, the class leader, Zhang Xiulai, pointed at Chen Mo and loudly criticized him, calling him the shame of the class for dragging the class's performance down. Unable to take it anymore, Chen Mo stood up coldly and said, "Shut up." The whole class froze. Zhang Xiulai thought she had misheard, but Chen Mo repeated, "Shut your mouth." Zhang Xiulai was humiliated in front of the class and ran to complain to the homeroom teacher, accusing Chen Mo of bullying her. Wang Liang, of course, sided with Zhang Xiulai and demanded that Chen Mo apologize. Chen Mo did not admit to being wrong. Although skipping the exam wasn't right, he had his reasons. He calmly said, "If given another chance, my results will not be worse than the class leaders." This statement made the whole class laugh. Some were even laughing so hard they were in tears. No one believed that he could do it. As for the teacher, she couldn't allow the whole class to retake the exam just because of Chen Mo. To resolve the situation, she proposed a solution. The Huanguam school has just sent a death exam paper. This paper is 10 times harder than the university entrance exam. You and Zhang Xiulai will take this exam in class. Whoever gets the lower score will have to apologize to the other. When the class heard about Wang Kuang's exam paper, they were stunned. Everyone knew how difficult the paper was. It was so tough that ordinary students couldn't even answer a single question. However, Zhang Xiulai was very confident because her opponent was Chen Mo. She believed she would definitely embarrass him. Without hesitation, Chen Mo agreed, saying there was nothing in this world that could stop him. After both accepted the challenge, the teacher allowed them to start. The time for the exam was limited to 1 hour, and the one with the higher score would win. As soon as the teacher said it start, both immediately focused on the exam. Zhang Xiuli frowned, biting her pen as she struggled with the difficult questions. The whole class could tell just how hard the exam was. In contrast, Chen Mo seemed relaxed, as though the exam was no challenge for him. Limdad looked at him with disgust, thinking to himself that he was just pretending to be calm. He probably would just randomly answer a few questions to finish. Only Jiang Yao kept believing in Chen Mo. After half an hour, Chen Mo put down his pen and casually asked how many days the winter break was this year. After learning that the break would be from tomorrow until the 16th of the next month, he turned and left the class. Seeing him stand up, Zhang Xiuli shouted, accusing him of trying to escape because he couldn't finish the exam. "Why are you forcing me to apologize?" she demanded. Chen Mo coldly responded, "I'm done. If you don't believe me, you can check." His words left the class stunned for a moment. Even the teacher was surprised. When she picked up his exam paper, no one expected that Chen Mo had completed all 100 questions with perfect accuracy. Limdai gaped in disbelief, unable to believe his eyes. Jian Jiao was overjoyed, as her faith in him had been proven. Zhang Xiuli's hands trembled as she held the exam paper, her face pale. If Chen Mo was really this good, it meant that she was no better than a useless person. Chen Mo just smiled faintly before walking out of the class, leaving all his classmates dumbfounded. His abilities were beyond what ordinary people could comprehend. Later, when he walked down to the schoolyard, Chen Mo heard a commotion from afar. Looking back, he saw a group of older women dancing and calling his name, demanding to cancel the engagement. This scene made Chen Mo sigh inwardly, thinking to himself that it would be easier to face 20 martial arts masters than to deal with these women. Just then, a young man walked up and gestured for everyone to stop. When Chen Mo asked who he was, the young man replied that his paternal grandfather was the younger brother of his maternal grandfather's cousin, and that he was representing the Yu family and Yu Jianxiang to officially cancel the engagement. Hearing this, Chen Mo frowned slightly. This had not happened in his previous life. Could his rebirth have changed history? He asked again, "Are you sure you represent the Yu family?" The young man smiled and introduced himself as Yanfei, also known as Fai Xiao. After announcing the cancellation of the engagement, he casually threw some money to the group of older women and walked away. Watching Yanfei's back, Chen Mo sighed. He didn't expect the Yu family to have such a young master. At that moment, Chen Mo began to consider the Yu family's plans. Shortly after, Ank Yu came running from a distance. Seeing Chen Mo's cold demeanor, she couldn't help but feel suspicious. It was clear he was not the same as before. She said her mother had been asking where he had been for the past few days and was worried about him. Chen Mo didn't hide it and simply replied that he had rented a place on his own and would no longer trouble her family. After saying this, he calmly walked away, leaving Ank Yu fuming behind him. More and more, she felt that Chen Mo had completely changed and was no longer the person he used to be. Nearby, Zheng Yuanhao watched everything. To him, Chen Mo was a huge threat, and he would never forgive him. He swore that he would make Chen Mo lose everything and be ruined. As for Yanfei, after completing the task of canceling the engagement, he returned home. The old man beside him couldn't help but wonder why Yanfei had made such a big scene. Yanfei shrugged and responded, "In fact, the Yu family doesn't want to cancel the engagement with Chen Mo. I did it just to let the Li family see it. Chen Mo will understand the Yu family's intentions." As for Chen Mo, he guessed that the Yu family was aiming for his martial artist status but didn't want to directly confront the Li family. However, he knew the Li family wasn't stupid. They were quietly observing the situation within their own ranks. Li Dongyang deeply regretted the actions of the Yu family. He thought to himself that if he had kept some familial ties years ago, the Li family could have gained a talented individual who could potentially become the leader of the 6 great superfamilies. But now, it was too late. Chen Mo had become a significant potential threat, and the Yu family's attitude only confirmed this. After hearing the whole story, Li Dongyang ordered his son not to pursue the cancellation of the engagement. Although the Yu family officially still sided with them, they couldn't let Chen Mo develop freely. The authority of the Li family would not allow anyone to influence their position. Li Dongyang decided to take action first. The first step was to attack the Manhwa Corporation and the Chen family. When his forces weren't strong enough, they needed to completely eliminate every source of support for Chen Mo. Li Leifat received the order and immediately began to act. Meanwhile, at Chen Mo's house, while he was training, he unexpectedly received a call from his mother. As soon as he picked up the phone, his mother, Li Sufang, immediately mentioned that he had moved out and bombarded him with questions about why he was living alone. Despite Chen Mo's explanations, she was still adamant that he should return home. She was worried about him living on his own. Eventually, he had to come up with a reason. "Mom, I'm learning martial arts from a mysterious old man. If I stay at